along with Pat Tabler. We are glad you've tuned in for today's broadcast. And yes, Shea Hillenbrand came up with a game-winning home run in extra innings yesterday, but what do you say about the defense?
Good pitching, and we got some good defense. Alex Rios' throw late in the ballgame to get Jermaine Dye, but John McDonald, there was none better. The two plays that he made, taking a hit away here and ending the sixth inning, and then taking another hit away from A.J. Pierzynski, setting the stage for the dramatic home run by Hillenbrand.
Unfortunately, a little later on, McDonald tweaked a groin going down the first base line, so he is unable to play today. Told us it wouldn't be wise to be involved in today's ball game, so Luis Figueroa will play short today and make his first major league start. So that is the situation where the infield is concerned. Let's talk about the starting pitchers. A rookie on the mound for the Jays, that we know. John Garland, a pretty good one, had a 18 victory season last year, goes for Chicago.
Taubenheim makes his first start here, and it's against a good team, the Chicago White Sox, fourth in the American League in runs scored, so that'll be a challenge to him. John Garland has had his way in the past in the 12 career games, 6-2 with an ERA under 4, but maybe the Blue Jays are starting to figure him out. The numbers much better the last 5 appearances.
Taubenheim and Garland are ready to go. Perhaps the Jays are looking at sweeping away the World Series champs. First pitch coming up. First, it's back to Jason Portuondo. The roof is open and the Blue Jays are poised to try and take the series in a sweep from Chicago. A quick look at the lineup for the Chicago White Sox. Scott Podsednik, the leadoff man. Some changes as Alex Cintron plays second base and bats second for Ozzie Guillen's men. As you heard, the manager was not very happy with his team's performance yesterday, and for that matter Friday night here against the Blue Jays. Starting numbers for Ty Taubenheim, brought to you by Nikon and the all-new lineup of Coolpix digital cameras. Visit nikon.ca for a dealer near you.
Ty Taubenheim made his major league debut back on May the 20th at Colorado. Did okay, although he lost the game 5-1, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. He was acquired by the Blue Jays back on December the 8th. Along with Lyle Overbay from the Milwaukee Brewers for Dave Bush, Zach Jackson, and Gabe Gross. And he is into this lineup now because of the injury of A.J. Burnett. First appearance against the Chicago White Sox in his career. And you can tell as we wait for the umpires to signal that we're ready to go, you can see Taubenheim is ready. He is on the rubber and waiting for Podsednik to step in.
First pitch delivered in for a strike underway at the Rogers Center. Podsednik's numbers have improved dramatically from April, where he was hitting under 200. Up against Taubenheim, a 23-year-old out of Bellingham, Washington.
Selected in the 19th round of the 2003 draft by the Milwaukee Brewers. And started his career in the bullpen, but once they moved him to the starting rotation in the minor leagues, he just zoomed right through their farm system. Last year spent some time in the Florida State League. He also spent some time in the Southern League, which is AA for the Brewers. Started this year in AAA and had fantastic numbers while he was down at Syracuse.
Made his debut a week ago yesterday, and frankly was the best starting pitcher the Jays had in Colorado for that series. The 2-2 pitch, line to center field. Wells chasing it, and Podsednik's got some pretty good speed. He's going to head for second base and perhaps another. Heading for third. Here's the throw. Hill won't make it, and Podsednik has a leadoff triple. That ball hit right up the middle, but Wells was shading him to left field.
Yeah, absolutely. Shading him to left center field, and he tries to climb the ladder with a fastball, and it ends up over the middle of the plate. And Podsednik nails it into the gap. And once this ball got by Vernon Wells, it rolls and stops right at that 400 sign. Podsednik motors all around. You mentioned the speed he has. That's his 4th triple of the season. It's a stand-up job here to open up the ballgame.
Now Alex Cintron lines one out to left field. Catalanato perfectly placed. Tagging is Podsednik. He comes in to score, and the White Sox have the 1-0 lead.
White Sox come out swinging the bat against Ty Taubenheim. This is the defense that will play behind him. Catalanato, Wells, and Rios in the outfield. Overbay, Hill, Gloss, and Figueroa. You mentioned his first start for the Blue Jays at shortstop. Greg Zahn back in there 2 days in a row behind the plate. And there's the exaggerated shift against Jim Thome that we saw in yesterday's ball game.
Swing and a miss from Thome. He leads the American League with 18 home runs. And so recognizable with that bat wielded out towards right field. Hits this one hard and misplayed by Figueroa. Looked like a ball that should be caught, but Figueroa watches it skip right over his glove, if not right through his glove.
It might have gone right through it. You can see he's starting to come in and wanting his backup glove. That ball was hit right on the button by Thome, and watch as Figueroa reaches for it. Looks like he had it right in the pocket of his glove, and it went right through it. Yep, you're absolutely right.
They'll charge an error to Figueroa, or maybe they should charge the error to the manufacturer. Looks like a Rawlings mitt.
Looks like he broke the webbing of his glove.
What's the matter? What's the matter, Pat? Do they not have quality equipment down in AAA?
Maybe they don't have people like Jim Thome who hits the ball that hard.
Let's get this kid a major league glove here.
And there's his backup.
So hopefully that glove works a little better than the last one. Unfortunately for Figueroa, Thome's on base now with Paul Konerko up. Bad breaks like that one sometimes come around and hurt you. And that's literally a break in the glove.
The break of the webbing. You know, the ball was right at him. All he had to do was reach up. He did. And that is an empty feeling if you reach for a ball and it goes right through the glove.
So what should probably be 2 out, nobody on, is in fact 1 out, man on for Konerko. You can hear the crispness of Taubenheim's pitches there.
We were talking about him down in Syracuse this year. His numbers were great. A 1.36 ERA and 8 starts. But what was very impressive is he only had 10 walks in 39 2/3 innings.
Swing and a miss, Konerko. He goes down on strikes.
All right, takes a little something off of this one. Looked like a little bit of a slider, and Konerko swings right over the top of it. He has had his trouble, Konerko, here at Rogers Center in his career, hitting under 200 in his career. He's had 6 jacks here, but the batting average under 200. You know, and as we watch some of these young kids start to come up for the Blue Jays, what impresses me is their strike zone command. And you talk to J.P. Ricciardi, you talk to Bart Gibbon, and they said, you know, we want guys who can command the strike zone. You don't want to start walking guys and putting the defense to sleep. We want you to work at a crisp pace, throw strikes, be around the strike zone, get yourself into good pitchers counts. I think we saw that with Casey Janssen, Taubenheim so far in his brief stay here. And if you don't command it, this year we've seen what happened. You're going back down.
Josh Towers, an example. Not to mention a couple of guys out of the bullpen. Jason Frazier, Vinny Chalk. 2 balls and a strike to Die. Ground ball. Chased by Figueroa. He will slide and smother the ball, but Die's aboard with a base hit, moving Thome up to second base. A lot of balls hit in the right place for the White Sox in this inning.
Well, this one, it looked like it was cued off the end of the bat because it's not hit hard enough to get out into center field. Figueroa gets there, knocks it down, but had no play. Even if he came up with the ball, there was no play. That was going to be a hit all the way. We saw that yesterday against B.J. Ryan, how they successfully hit the ball like into the shortstop hole and got a base hit. They put a couple of nice bunts down that the Blue Jays were not able to make plays on.
Brzezinski swings at the first pitch. We saw Alex Cintron swing at a first pitch as well. His sacrifice driving in Podsednik, who was at third base with a triple.
Sometimes when you face a pitcher that you have never faced before, the first fastball you see, you're going to go ahead and swing at it. We had a chance yesterday to visit with Ty Taubenheim. He was telling us that start he had in Colorado, he just couldn't get the grip of the ball out there. He said after they put it in that humidor, how tough it was to grab the ball.
There's Aaron Hill at second base, retiring Brzezinski 4-3, but the White Sox get a run after the Podsednik triple and lead it 1-0. John Gibbons must be happy with the fact his team has won the first two in this series. Let's look at his lineup for the series finale. Alex Rios leads off with a 1.059 OPS. He's in the midst of a 13-game hit streak. Greg Zahn is the catcher today. Career-wise, he hits .571 against John Garland. And down in the number 9 spot, Luis Figueroa, in his first start in the big leagues, up against the right-hander Garland.
26-year-old John Garland makes his 10th start of the season, the 7th on the road. He was an all-star last year when he set career highs in wins, innings pitched, ERA, strikeouts, complete games, and shutouts. He started last year 8-0, a little bit different this year.
Uribe at short, throws out Alex Rios.
And the defense behind John Garland starting for Ozzie Guillen. Just one change from yesterday's game. Podsednik, Makoviak, and Dye in the outfield. Alex Cintron takes over for Tadahito Iguchi at second base. Creedy and Uribe short and third. And A.J. Brzezinski again with the start behind the plate. Paul Konerko has started every game this year at first base for the White Sox. We mentioned the start that John Garland had last year, 8-0, and he was an all-star, set career highs in a lot of those categories. The difference between last year and this year, if you talk to Don Cooper, the pitching coach for the White Sox, is he is not establishing balls inside, especially the right-handers. He's got a great sinking fastball, and he would like to see him bury that a little bit more on right-handers and then use that slider to get them out.
The 0-2 to Catalanato, fouled away.
If you looked at some of the numbers that were flashed up on the board there when Garland was warming up, he's allowed 13 home runs already this season. That's tied for third most in the American League. And what might be alarming is the hits, 76 hits in 57 and 2/3 innings. But Donnie Cooper thinks that if he can just keep the ball down and throw strikes consistently, those numbers are going to come down.
Outside ball two. A couple of Blue Jays have done well against Garland. Shea Hillenbrand in the lineup has hit 2 home runs against him career. Eric Hinsky has done so as well, though he's watching from the bench today. Up and in on Catalanato, and he manages to get a piece of the bat on that ball. In an exciting game yesterday, it was Catalanato's at bat, I think in the 8th, that brought in the go-ahead run for the Blue Jays that impressed you most.
Yeah, well, he battled and saw just about every pitch in that at-bat. A couple of change-ups from McCarthy, fastballs. He kept fouling them off, and then he got a curveball, and he stayed right there and hit it down the line for a double.
Then he takes one here in the ankle.
That looked like he just held on to that slider just a little bit too long. And Catalanotto takes it in the knee. Third time this year he has been hit by a pitch.
And on Vernon Wells' bobblehead doll day at the ballpark, the man himself steps up. Our esteemed statistician Scott Carson suggested we at some point try and track players to see how they do on their own bobblehead doll day.
Is this the first one of the year? Have we had a bobblehead?
I believe it is.
First bobblehead.
Although I'll challenge the likeness. I'm just not convinced it looks a whole lot like Vernon Wells. Marty Peavy maybe. However, that's one man's opinion. Wells went without a hit in yesterday's game. There's Catalanotto, held on by Konerko. A ball and a strike, one out, bottom of the first. Quite a difference in the ERA for Garland on the road versus playing at home in Chicago. His road ERA this year, 7.88. Back in Chicago, it's a pretty tidy 2.75.
You see the numbers right there against the Blue Jays. And he has had his trouble in the first inning this year. Sox are 5-4 in his starts. But the opponents against John Garland in the first inning are hitting .333. See, he's really trying to bury that sinking fastball right in on the hands of Vernon Wells. Too close to take with 2 strikes. Swing away and foul it off. Ball's awfully tough to keep fair. And that was his bread and butter pitch last year when he made the All-Star team.
The count now full to Wells. Boy, Garland's taking his own sweet time up there on the bump, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of those guys, I think, also that needs to pitch on a regular basis. It's been 6 days since he last pitched. Back on May the 22nd against Oakland when he gave up 10 hits in 6 innings. Now, if you look at his stats this year on 6 days rest, opponents are hitting over 400 against John Garland. But on 4 days rest, it's down under 300, like at 279. He's the kind of guy, I think, the more he works, arm gets a little bit tired, his ball starts moving just a little bit more. I remember Jimmy Key talked about that a lot, that the more rest he had, the stronger he did, the ball straightened out on him.
Fouled back again by Wells. This is quite an at-bat. So meaning, for your stuff to be sharp, it's almost better to be
tired,
a little tired.
And maybe, you know, your arm starts dropping just a little bit, and if it drops, you start getting a little bit more movement on the pitches. And the numbers start to bear that.
Say this much about Wells and this at bat. He's going to rocket up that pitch count a little bit for the White Sox starter.
Well, this at bat alone, it's 9 pitches for Vernon Wells, and he's already fouled off 6 of them. You're absolutely right. That will get the pitch count up. It'll also give the guys on deck and sitting on that bench an idea of what Garland's stuff is like today.
This one headed for the chairs, and will get there safely and out of the reach of Konerko. Garland, a 26-year-old out of Valencia, California, had a sizzling first half last year. Went 13-4 with a 3.38 ERA, and got a first-time nod in the All-Star game. Just foul. Vernon Wells did that Friday night, and it went into the upper tank.
Well, he spins a slider, and you can see how it quickens up the bat of Vernon Wells. Has the distance, but you can see right at the last second it kind of hooks foul. He was pounding him with that fastball in the inner half and tried a slider and left it out over the middle. What an at-bat.
If we don't make the start of the Memorial Cup final coming up at 4 Eastern time, we'll blame it on Vernon Wells.
He has thrown 22 pitches already here in the first inning, 12 of them to Vernon Wells in this at-bat.
And finally, a result. It's ball 4, and so Troy Glaus is going to come up here with 2 on for the Blue Jays and 1 out. These are the kind of situations a man like Glaus must love to be in.
RBIs, he has already reached John Garland for a home run and 13 career at-bats. You know, when a pitcher struggles to get the ball over the plate, I like to turn around and I look at the middle infielders and see what their body language is telling me.
What's the body language of the White Sox telling you?
Well, it looks like they're saying, come on, throw the ball over the plate. I mean, those are the guys who are in on every pitch. They're deciding between each other who's going to cover second base on a steal. They have to be on their toes, and I'm watching Uribe and I'm watching Cintron, and they kind of have their hands on their hips and they're kind of laying back just a little bit. 26 pitches now for Garland in the first inning. Sometimes that kind of lulls you to sleep just a little bit when, especially that bat that Vernon Wells had, where you're fouling off a lot of pitches and you end up walking. You see the infielders take their glove off and kind of walk around and kick at the field turf a little bit. Got to keep that high intensity level.
A 3-1 pitch coming. Swung on and missed by Glaus. I think he was aiming for the restaurant.
Well, 3-1, you know he's going to open up that swing and try and put him ahead with a long one. That time it got a little bit long and a little bit loopy.
Swung on and missed. The throw down to third. Catalanato out at the bag. And there go the Blue Jays as the White Sox get the strike him out, throw him out to end the frame. There is the General Motors Home Run Challenge display. It's already been hit by a Blue Jay this season. That was Troy Glaus. But at each Jays home game, 20 semifinalists will be selected. And if one of the Blue Jays hits that target again with a home run, someone will win a night for themselves and 15 of their friends in the General Motors luxury suite here. And then all the semifinalists at the end of the year will have their names put in a barrel, and a draw will be made for a brand new Pontiac Solstice or the 2006 Chevrolet HHR. I'm Jamie Campbell along with Pat Tabler. Good to have you watching today on Rogers Sportsnet. It's Ty Taubenheim against John Garland, the 1-0 White Sox lead. Joe Creedy, the third baseman, leading off the second for Chicago. That conversation you had with Taubenheim yesterday, he was suggesting that he could not get any kind of a grip to throw his curveball. He likened it to trying to throw a cue ball that you'd pick off a billiard table.
Yeah, he said he just could not grip the ball, that they were very slick. I think something that had to do out there in Colorado had something to do with that. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Ty Taubenheim. Fastball, a slider, and a changeup. That slider, if you talk to Brad Arnsberg, is a lot like a cutter. And I think the key for him, he's got to throw strikes early. And if he does that and gets ahead, he can expand that strike zone and expand the zone with his breaking ball. Did a good job, and I thought in the first inning, getting ahead of the batters. The defense let him down just a little bit. They hit some balls that were finding some holes. But if he can get ahead with that fastball and some of his other stuff, he'll expand that strike zone with a good breaking ball.
Rob Makoviak at the plate. Among American League hitters, only Mark Loretta of the Red Sox has a better average in the month of May. Makoviak hitting .364 this month. And that includes Alex Rios, who in the month of May hit .361. So a fine month for the man at the plate right now, Makoviak.
Well, that's why he's getting a lot more playing time than Brian Anderson, who started out there for the White Sox this year. When they acquired Makoviak from Pittsburgh for Damaso Marte, the thought was he'll play some outfield. He can play some infield if you need to. It's a left-handed bat off the bench, and Anderson was going to be the starter, but he has been in a dreadful slump. And Makoviak, like you just mentioned, has been swinging the bat. So Ozzie Guillen said, hey, I'm trying to win some ball games. I'm going to put my best lineup out there. Over the last 13 games, this kid is hitting .441.
3-1 pitch on the way. Outside ball 4, and Taubenheim has walked the first 2. And that will necessitate a visit from Brad Arnsberg.
Now, he might have seen something in his windup, in his delivery, that maybe has thrown him off just a little bit, where the ball is not staying in the strike zone. You can see he understands what Arnsberg's saying to him. And he'll go out there and try and do it to get back into the strike zone.
Now, under the category of strange but interesting, our Sportsnet.ca columnist Scott Carson tells me that Taubenheim is the 34th player in Blue Jay history with double initials, including a group with names like Luis Leal, Steve Centeny,
Bob Baylor,
Dennis DeBar. Here's Uribe. the number 9 hitter, trying to move the runners along.
Struggling right now with an average right at 200. They might cross him up now with the lead here in the 2nd inning and let him swing away. We'll see the Blue Jays defense playing situational bunt play.
Back to Taubenheim. He's got to play to third and gets it there quickly to retire Creedy. We saw B.J. Ryan do that yesterday.
This one a little bit too close to the pitcher's mound. You see he's going to cover the third base side of the infield. Overbase got the first base side. And you want to make that third baseman come in and field the ball. As a third baseman, Gloss is reading that ball off the bat. And if he can see that his pitcher can go and get it, he's going to go back to third base. Executed perfectly by the inner defense of the Blue Jays.
Podsednik tripled last time up. And he did so in part due to the fact that Vernon Wells was playing him exactly where he's playing him now, more to the left side of the field. Podsednik was able to hit it right up the middle and roll it up towards the outfield fence.
White Sox have been so good this year with hitting with runners in scoring position. Look at that team average. 2nd in the American League, almost a .300 team batting average with runners in scoring position.
3-0 to Podsednik. There's the third walk of the inning by Taubenheim. What would Aaron Hill be telling Taubenheim? Get us a ground ball. We'll get you the double play and get you out of this.
Yeah, I think that would be the thing that you want to see right now. And, you know, we were talking in the first inning about how well he has commanded the strike zone. Well, he was in the minor league this year. He had allowed no more than 2 walks in any of his 8 starts.
Cintron hits it hard and foul. Now would be a very good time for a double play ball because number 25 is on deck, Jim Thome. This is not the guy you want up when you have men on base.
And Cintron would be a tough guy to double up also. He runs very well.
Misses inside. So the count is 2-2.
He tried to bring that fastball in the inner half and freeze Cintron. Riggs reaches for the ball. And that evens the count at 2.
Swung on and missed by Cintron. But it looks like a foul tip.
Breaking ball from Ty Taubenheim. You can see he just gets a piece of it. And Greg Zahn can hold on to the ball. Right off the webbing of his glove.
Hit up the middle and a base hit for Cintron. That brings home one. Wells with the quick throw in. So an RBI single for Cintron makes it a 2-0 ball game and draws in Jim Thome.
Now this ball is elevated. You can see it's just above the belt by Cintron, and he's going to make you pay for that one. Hits it hard in the center field, so hard that the runner at second base, Uribe, can't score.
With the bases loaded, here's Jim Thome's situation.
Boy, when the pressure rises, look at that situation this year. Not just a 250 hitter, but with guys in scoring position. One of the big reasons why the White Sox are #2 in the American League hitting with runners in scoring position. Right around 450 for Thome. Remember the big time shift that we saw last inning when Thome was up. Now with runners on base, nothing that the infielders can do. They have to play their positions. The big hole on the right side, scattering report from Jim Thome says that he pulls a lot of balls on the ground.
And now Taubenheim one pitch away from walking in a third run. The Red Sox are coming to town. The first of 3 comes tomorrow night here at the Rogers Center. That game will feature Matt Clement for Boston up against Roy Halladay. Halladay with a 6-1 record, as you see, a very good 2.77 ERA. All 3 games in that series will be seen here on Rogers Sportsnet.
Brian Talent has now gotten up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays.
Ball 4, and a run is walked in here to make it 3-0. And this crowd growing a little impatient with young Ty Taubenheim.
Nothing he can do right there. John Gibbons, you got to throw the ball over the plate. Let your defense help you out.
Strike one to Konerko, who struck out in the first. The White Sox, with 2 in this inning, they've only managed 1 hit. That was the Cintron single that drove home Makoviak. Sliding home, Podsednik.
Wow.
Things are just starting to fall apart here for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Greg Zaun's throw back to Ty Taubenheim. Now he's 6'5". You got to miss pretty bad. Slider down and away. Nothing happening. Throws it back and whoop, it's over his head. Heads up play by Podsednik to score easily from third base.
So an error now charged to Zaun. That error that was charged in the first to Luis Figueroa has been changed by the official score here. Give Thome a base hit in that first inning.
That's the ball that went right through the webbing of the shortstop.
bottom. You throw to first, get 2. But the Blue Jays give up 3. Taubenheim walking 4 in the inning. There's the TD Canada Trust Comfort Zone. Folks from Comfort Living enjoying the big green cushy seats down there. Quite a vantage point. Certainly one where you want to keep your head up at all times. Not a good start for the Blue Jays here in the finale of a 3-game series. They had a chance to get some runs against John Garland in the first, but could not. And after a disastrous second in which Ty Taubenheim walks 4, sees an error charge to Greg Zahn on a throwback to the mound, the White Sox score 3 times, take a 4-0 lead. Overbay is the leadoff man in the bottom of the second.
You know what you have to do now if you're the Blue Jays? You just say, okay, forget about the score. You don't look at the scoreboard. You just start pecking away right now. Start taking your at-bats. Get that leadoff batter on. Start taking it one at a time. If you start thinking about, okay, I have to hit a 3-run home run, or I've got to, do a little bit more than I'm capable of, you'll end up getting shut out. Just take it nice and slow like this right here. Overbay working Garland. You get him on, get a couple of guys on. And if you keep doing that, you got plenty of time so far this game. You got 8 more innings.
And if they're going to peck away, in past games this year, there have been pitchers who have been extremely good against the Blue Jays. I'm thinking Kelvin Escobar of the Angels when they were in town, Scott Kazmir of the Devil Rays. But Garland, though it's early, looks like he's a guy you could peck away on. I mean, he was not very good in that first inning.
There's no question that he's not throwing the ball this year as well as he did last year at this time. You go up there and you're just trying to have good at bats. Don't want to get him into that comfort zone and start giving away at bat.
Hammered to right center by Lyle Overbay, and the pecking begins. A solo drive, and the lead now for the White Sox is 3.
Well, that's a good start. Home run number 6 for Lyle Overbay this year. He got himself into a good hitter's count. He knows that Garland doesn't want to start walking anybody, so he's going to get a fastball. This one is elevated, and he hits it out of the ballpark into right center field.
He almost tagged the restaurant. Look, it just hit the facing of that lower level of the second deck here at the Rogers Center. And now a guy who hit a home run in his most recent at bat. That's Shea Hillenbrand. Pops this one up though in shallow center. Cintron backing up, gives way to Makoviak. Here's your scouting report on John Garland.
Well, he's got a very good hard sinking fastball. His slider is one of those tilted sliders, and he throws an occasional changeup. And I think the key for him is he has got to establish the inner half of the plate, especially to all these right-handed batters that the Blue Jays will throw up there. Hard sinking fastball inside. Now, when he was on last year, he would throw that fastball to lefties inside also.
Zahn's numbers career against Garland very good, hitting .571. Lifts this one to left field. Podsednik is there. Second out in the books as we take it back to Jason Portwando. Back here, Aaron Hill at the plate in the bottom of the second, a 4-1 Chicago lead. little slow roller under the glove of Creedy, but Uribe picks it up, throws it on to first, gets the out. And Garland gets the last three, but gives up a leadoff home run to Lyle Overbay. The Blue Jays are on the board. It's a 4-1 Chicago lead. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. In a year in which the Blue Jays dropped $47 million on a closer, Dwayne Ward is thinking, oh, I kind of wish I was still playing.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like to have at least stuck around for, 3 or 4 more years. But no, I tell you what, that's just, I think, how the game's evolved a little bit.
Good to see you. I know you and Pat are old teammates from those days with the Blue Jays in the early 90s. It's Flashback Fridays at the Rogers Center on a regular basis. You've made it a flashback weekend. You stayed the whole weekend.
I tell you what, I only get a whole lot of opportunities to come up here and watch a game and see my old stomping grounds. So I said, you guys are going to come up there. I'm coming up there for 4 days.
All right, you got to give us a scouting report. You've watched this team now for a few days.
I'll tell you, I think that everybody, throughout baseball, I think, pitching troubles. I think a lot of people are trying to find that, that great little closer that they can, pull in there to save the ball games. I think the Jays have that now. They're looking for, that 4 and 5 starter instead of that 1, 2, and 3. They're looking for that 4 and 5 starter, and I think the Jays are kind of shuffling right now to find that, to see what they can, do. I love their offense. I mean, I think they're going to be a sleeper. I got some friends of mine back in Vegas that, they're going to watch the Jays. I said, I have been watching them. I tell you what, I said, they're going to be a sleeper team where I think, like everybody's going to look at Boston, everybody's going to look at New York, and they're going to overlook the Blue Jays. And I think the Blue Jays are going to be right there in the thick of things.
A.J. Pierzynski stepping in here, swinging at the first Toppenheim offering as the White Sox attempt to get that run back that Garland gave up on the home run to Lyle Overbay. Pierzynski 0 for 1 with Jermaine Dye at second base after the double down the line into left field. Our guest is Dwayne Ward.
See, and I also like the Chicago White Sox team too. I mean, I think they got a good hitting ball club. They got pitching looks pretty good. I mean, the Jays look great the last 2 days against them. Keeping their the hits down and everything else. And then, today's just a little slow start, but I mean it's a 9-inning ball game. It's not a 3-inning ball game. So let this guy get settled in a little bit, start throwing some strikes, and I think things will turn around for him.
As you watch baseball, and I know you keep up with baseball in the American League, well, all over Major League Baseball, do you see a discrepancy between the top teams and the lower teams?
Well, yeah, you do, because I think a lot of that just deals with who can pay for what. And Pat, back when we were when you came over here, I mean, we just started at that time. The Blue Jays started spending a little bit of money, trying to make the team a little bit better, and then all of a sudden, we started getting to that $50 million payroll, and then people are going, how can they afford this?
Right. That was the highest in baseball.
It was the highest in baseball, and that was in 1992. And I tell you what, people are going, oh my gosh, how can they afford it? Now you look at the Yankees and the Red Sox. You guys are paying $200 million, and I do see some discrepancies or some not a lot of parity.
Well, you have a handful of teams. Three in the East, I think. The Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees, obviously, and then Cleveland and Detroit, Chicago in the Central, Texas.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
and everybody else, they don't have a chance.
No, they. You know what? That was a nice thing about a few years ago when the Florida Marlins won the World Series.
Right.
It's like they came out of nowhere. They're beating up on the high dollar teams,
right.
And they're going, who are these Florida Marlins? And then seeing Chicago White Sox. Boston. They had been building up with the payroll. I think as they finally got their World Series after a century. But that to me, I think is really what's it's separated the teams. And back when you came into to the big leagues, back even when I came to the big leagues, there was a lot of parity. Even the small market teams had good teams.
Yes.
Because you remember when you were at KC, and then you had Milwaukee, you had the smaller market teams. Unbelievable.
I thought the equalization program was supposed to fix all that as we look at Pierzynski popping out in foul territory, but it hasn't happened so far. Maybe that's going to take some time.
Well, I think it is going to. When they went to that big boom about the 10-year, $150 million contracts.
Here's Dye waved around home. He will score on the base hit by Joe Creedy. So the White Sox are back on the board and leading 5-1.
But yeah, I mean, but when you started seeing those contracts go to that extreme, I think that's when you started seeing the difference. They really started separating from that middle market team and that lower market team. And I don't know how you can get that back, if you can get that back.
I don't know if
because the Steinbrenners, the Turners, even the Chicago Cubs. I mean, they got the money to spend. they just don't spin it the way. Exactly. I mean, but it's going to take some time before that will all get back to where it was, where it was at, 25 years ago.
Well, the Creedy base hit is going to signal the end for Ty Taubenheim. Here comes Brian Talent. We'll be back after this short message. Bit of a foggy day here in Toronto. We're joined by Dwayne Ward. Brian Talent has come into the ball game to relieve Ty Taubenheim, who had a very difficult 2 1/3. Talent standing 6'7". What are you, about 6'3"?
I'm 6'4", and I tell you what, the whole pitching staff with the Jays are pretty big.
They look like a basketball team now, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I tell you, when you run into some of these other players out there, like, I see Richie Sexton every now and again, and I tell you, this guy's he's a monster.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that these guys are actually getting bigger and bigger as time goes on, or I'm just getting older and shrinking.
Your knees are making you shrink there, big man.
No, I tell you what, I think it's just part of growing old.
Now, you mentioned you're living in Las Vegas. Are you retired, or are you in business?
I'm retired from baseball, but not retired from doing other things there and stuff. So, I keep myself active there, playing some golf when I can, when the body feels right. And, it's not like when you're pitching, whether you felt right or not, you went out there on that bump and you threw.
Swung on and missed by Makoviak, so Talent gets the strikeout with Creedy aboard. 2 down here in the top of the 3rd, joined by Dwayne Ward, who had a spectacular 1993, 45 saves. And, a lot of Blue Jay fans remember that you took over the closer role from Tom Henke, and for so many years, it's like the Blue Jays only had to win 7-inning games because they'd go to you in the 8th and then Henke in the 9th.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Pat can actually attest to this. It was almost like going 5 or 6 innings, and then
5 or 6,
and then let the bullpen take over. And but it wasn't just myself and Tom. I mean, there was we had some other quality relievers out there. With a young Timlin, we had Mark Eichhorn, we had Mark. I mean, just nasty from all over the place. And then we had David Wells in the bullpen before he went into the rotation. And so it was really a great little bullpen that had 5 quality pitchers out there.
It was a great pitching staff.
It was a great pitching staff also too.
The
starters were also a lot of quality there too.
Now, do you ever want to get back into the game? Do you want to coach? Do you want to take what you've learned? And
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind getting back into coaching a little bit, or even doing some of this stuff with what you guys are doing, or radio or whatever. But I'm sitting down there watching the game right now, and I was sitting there watching Ty pitching the 2nd inning where he's scuffling a little bit, and I went, I've been there, son. Just keep battling. Just keep battling. I mean, it's just. People don't realize that, he's not trying any less.
Right.
He's probably trying too hard, and all of a sudden, things just start getting a little bit more further away from him, and he's just trying to reach for it a little harder. And, I've been in that situation.
It's kind of like when you're trying to hit and you're trying to swing so hard, and you get out of that zone.
Exactly.
Where you're at.
Exactly. Instead of being in that comfort zone, you just, you start reaching for that brass ring, say, I can get out of this. I can get out of this.
Well, Brian Talent gets out of that, striking out Juan Uribe and Rob Makoviak ahead of him. We thank Dwayne Ward for joining us.
Oh, great. Hey, guys, thanks a lot for having me. And hopefully, maybe I'll see you guys on the West Coast when you guys are out that way, and make a trip to California.
We'll make a deal of that.
Okay.
Back at the Rogers Center in Toronto, a broken bat grounder by Luis Figueroa hustles down the line, but is thrown out by Juan Uribe for the first out of the bottom half of the 3rd. Ty Taubenheim leaves the ballgame. His pitching line is brought to you by the Hazelnut Moo Latte at Dairy Queen. DQ, something different.
2 1/3, 6 hits, and 4 earnings. You see the walks where the big culprit, obviously, is 2 of the guys that he walked came around to score.
Alex Rios, the leadoff man, 0 for 1 today. And the Gatorade X Factor today, brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you? Some pretty good runs by Alex Rios. Right now, he's hit safely in 13 consecutive games. And he hits this one to shallow center field. Makoviak will take it for the 2nd out. So with Frank Catalanato coming up, must have been nice to be a player for a team, knowing you had Dwayne Ward coming in from the bullpen.
You know why? Because it was intimidating.
Right.
He and Hanky, they could come in and
They were
strike
both
guys out.
intimidating.
Very intimidating. I saw it from both sides. From the third base dugout where the Blue Jay uniform, and I saw it from the visitor side also. And I'm like, hurry up, guys. We got to get the lead before the 6th inning, or they're going to run those 2 guys out there. And it's going to be awfully tough to come back.
Oh, 0-2 to Catalanato. The Blue Jays have been hurt by a couple of things today. First and foremost, the 4 walks issued by Taubenheim in the second, leading to 3 runs. It didn't help that Greg Zahn threw the ball away on a simple throwback to the mound that allowed Podsednik to come in. Here's a looper out to left field. Podsednik will take it. And the Blue Jays go down in order in the 3rd. Through 3, it's a White Sox lead of 5-1 on Rogers Sportsnet. 2 weeks from today, the Detroit Tigers will come to the Rogers Center. It's Kids Glove Giveaway presented by Federal Express. First 5,000 fans under the age of 15 get a baseball glove. It's a shame the Tigers don't visit this place more often. We talk about interleague and who the Blue Jays rival might be. Well, a longtime rival for so many years, right down the highway, about 4 hours.
Boy, the fans used to come here from Detroit to watch their Tigers. I remember back in the 80s, and I remember going to Detroit as a member of the Blue Jays, how many fans would come over across the border. It almost felt like a home game.
Yes. Brian Talent on the mound, facing the leadoff man, Scott Podsednik. He's scored twice so far today. And so many people west of, say, London, Ontario, grew up Tigers fans. And if you live in, say, Windsor, you probably are a Tigers fan. There aren't many Blue Jay fans in that area, we think.
A lot of Tiger fans coming out of the woodworks this year also.
There's Podsednik lifting one over the head of Figueroa for a base hit. So Podsednik has made it on base all 3 times today. In steps Alex Cintron in his first year with the White Sox. Spent the previous 5 with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
He was brought over here to fill the role of utility infielder. You know, last year with Arizona, played in 39 games at shortstop, played 32 games at third base, 23 at second base. Already this year, he has played all around the infield for Ozzie Guillen. When he first came up, he was one of those can't miss prospects. Really hasn't filled the bill, the pub that he got when he came into the big leagues.
There are players like that scattered all over the major leagues. The Corey Pattersons and Phil Nevins of the world. Highly, highly touted. But for some reason or another, just didn't reach the continuous all-star status expected of them. Cintron with a fly ball to center field taken by Wells. Tomey now digs in. And with the shift on, Troy Gloss goes over to Luis Figueroa and sort of fills him in on, I guess, assignments there at second base.
Who's going to take the throw if Podsednik decides to steal with Tomey at the plate? Now Ross is going to come across the bag to turn 2 in case there's a ground ball to Figueroa. He's also telling him, if I have to field the ball, Podsednik can really run. As you see Talek kind of dust Thome back off the plate. You know, if there is a ground ball to Troy Gloss's left and they can't get the force on Podsednik, it's Figueroa who's got to beat him to the bag, third base. And I think that's what he was telling the youngster.
Podsednik darts down to second base. Figueroa applies the tag and gets him. Nice toss down from Greg Zahn. It kind of looked as if Podsednik hesitated about midway through his run.
Well, let's take a look at it here in the replay. It's a high fastball and a very good pitch
right there
to throw. Greg Zahn throws out another base stealer.
He put the brakes on as Thome walks and tosses his bat away. He put the brakes on just before hitting the dirt at second base.
Let's take an ISO right on Podsednik. You can see he's looking in. Wonder if he thought that that was a foul ball or maybe it was ball 4. But you're right, he kind of slowed up right when he got to that dirt area after he had glanced over his left shoulder at home plate.
It was a close enough play that he probably would have been safe if he just kept going. The Blue Jays will take it, though. And it was interesting watching Jim Thome head for first base. He threw his bat away, draws a walk. Whether or not it was, I'm not happy that I didn't get a good chance to take a swing, or this kid buzzed me in the ear, at least tried to.
Well, they both played for Cleveland at one time, so that might have been something where Thome wanted to do something against Brian Talek because of the Cleveland days.
This is Talek's third time up with the big club. He's been on a string back and forth to Syracuse. Staring at a 1-2 pitch here to Konerko. Konerko strikes out. It's the first inning in which the White Sox have not scored. They have a 5-1 edge on the Blue Jays. The only night game in the American League comes your way a little later on tonight on Rogers Sportsnet. Sunday Night Baseball features the Athletics and the Texas Rangers. Vicente Padilla for Texas up against Kirk Saarloos of the A's. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific time on all channels.
That American League West is wide open, isn't it, this year? Just 4 games separate the 4 teams in the AL West.
That's a division the Blue Jays would be leading if they were in it. But they are not. They're in a very tough American League East. Hit hard by Wells again to the left side. That ball is again foul and probably ended up in the hands of the same guy that caught the last one.
Instant replay from the first inning when Vernon Wells had a very good at bat. Watch this one, a fastball, and he hooks it again. It's staying fair, and then at the last second, right in the same area.
That ball hit about the same seat, if not the same person.
pitch out.
You know, if you could just correct the direction on these bombs, it would be a much closer game than 5-1. 2, and this one is hit towards the gap in left center, and that ball is off the wall. Fielded by Makoviak, and Wells gets himself a double.
He has had a couple of pretty good at-bats against John Garland this afternoon. He walked his first time up, and now this time, fastball out over the middle of the plate. He drives it hard to left center field. It'll short hop that auxiliary scoreboard in left field. 9th double of the season for Vernon Wells. A good start here for the Jays in the bottom of the 4th.
Troy Gloss, the batter. He struck out in the 1st. The Blue Jays had an excellent chance to do some early damage to John Garland in that 1st inning. Men on 1st and 2nd with 1 out. Troy Gloss came up. He struck out, and the White Sox managed to throw out Catalanato trying to steal 3rd.
You know what made that tough was Garland was really struggling with his control that 1st inning. He had thrown a boatload of pitches, and it looked like Troy actually swung at ball 4, and that's why he was so upset. He's striking out, and then Catalanato kind of hung up the drive right around 3rd base to strike him out, throw him out. Chance to redeem himself now.
But this bat looking very similar. He started out 2-0 in that previous at bat, fouled off a pitch, eventually worked at 3-1.
No reason to try to move the runner here, I think. Garland thinks he is, and he threw a couple of fastballs inside. You know, up there, just keep that line moving, try to hit the ball out of the yard. Do whatever you have to do to get that guy in. Now, if it was a 1-run game, maybe you want to try and move the runner after the leadoff double.
Field. Not very deep. Dye comes in. Wells will not go from 2nd. So Gloss cannot move the runner along. Here's Lyle Overbay, who hit a solo shot in the 2nd.
Watch the reaction from Troy Gloss. He knows that he missed that pitch. That one was right down the middle of the plate.
Home run number 6 from Overbay in that 2nd inning. You know, if you live in Chicago, it's bad enough if you support the Cubs that the White Sox won the World Series last year, but it was made worse by the fact that John Garland had such an outstanding year, and he was a 1st-round pick of the Cubs. The Cubs traded him to Chicago
for Matt Karchner.
Yes.
And he went on to have a great season, winning those 18 games.
Here's the 1-1. Jammed him, and he pops it up in the infield. And Uribe calls off Creedy to take it, 2 out. So Wells stays stuck at 2nd base.
You know, the thing about the White Sox, to take it one step further, pitching, they have the ability to go out there every single day to win a game because of their starting staff. What they have done in the last 2 years, including the playoffs, this is their four of their starters, Burley, Garcia, Contreras, and Garland. Look at those numbers. ERAs just over 3. 24-10 Mark Burley. Now, that's not even counting what Javier Vasquez, who they picked up in the wintertime, what he has done over the last few years. He has won 16 games last year and this year. So they have a starting staff that every time they take the mound, they have a chance, a very good chance of winning ball games. That's what it's all about. And that's why you see some of the numbers that the White Sox have this year. Their record, their ability to win those winning streaks, a long winning streak.
Garland will get Hillenbrand, and the Blue Jays will leave Vernon Wells stranded with a 5-1 lead. Jason, Vernon Wells' first All-Star appearance came in 2003 when they played the game at the home of the White Sox, U.S. Cellular Field, south side of Chicago. He's on the ballot this year. Alex Rios is not. You can vote for your favorite Blue Jay by logging on to BlueJays.com. You'll have to register. You'll need an email address to do so. And there's Alyssa Milano from Who's the Boss, among other things. The actress in town watching the Blue Jays today. Every time I see her, I think she's dated like tons of athletes. Carl Pavano's ex-girlfriend, in fact, Alyssa Milano.
Really?
Yeah. Rob Brown, who played hockey with the Pittsburgh Penguins for many years, played as junior with the Kamloops Blazers. Likes the athletes. I don't know if she's dating a current player, if you're wondering. But, you know, this is not Gossip Central here on Sportsnet. Jermaine Dye steps in against Brian Talent. Dye looking to continue a nice day already. A single and a double on his resume. The White Sox, believe it or not, just trying to get out of town with a victory.
Dye is also trying to continue a streak that he has had. 33 RBIs in 33 games coming into this one. He has picked up the slack when Konerko and Thome don't drive in the run.
Drives this to right field. Rios looks back and watches this sail over the head of those in the bullpen. A solo shot Dye. He is now a triple away from the cycle.
I didn't mean for him to do it in that at bat. To now driving 34 runs in his last 34 games. But he takes care of it himself. Talent throws a fastball out over the middle of the plate. And you see those hips kind of open up, and he drives that ball to right field hard. Fourth home run by Talent given up this year.
So the lead for Chicago now 5. A.J. Brzezinski, the batter, he's 0 for 2. Slow roller down the first base line, fielded by Overbay. Jason Portwando keeping us apprised of other games. Thank you, Jason. Jason Portwando manning the update desk back at the Sportsnet studio. Here's Joe Creedy. Swings the first pitch and popped up. Overbay at the line. Steals it away from Aaron Hill.
See them talking about it right there. Overbay a few inches taller than Aaron Hill, and he's able to reach over him and make that play. Usually when the first baseman is going back like that, the angle of the second baseman is a little bit easier to pick the ball up, but Overbay was camped under that one and was calling him off.
There's Rob Makoviak with 2 out. He fouls this one away. Well, it was exactly 2 years ago today that Makoviak's wife Jennifer gave birth to their son Garrett. At the time, he was playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates were playing a doubleheader against the Cubs. The little man was born at 10:30 in the morning. Jennifer told Rob, just go and play if you want. He had the day off. So he went to the ballpark, got into the first game of the doubleheader, and hit a walk-off grand slam home run on the day little Garrett was born. Talked to him before the game today, said the worst thing about being a major league ball player is that you miss so many of your kids' birthdays. You would probably know that. He went around 2-2 the count.
Unless you have him in the offseason.
Tough to plan. Sky to left field. And Catalaneta will take it. A clean inning, but for that die solo shot. It's the White Sox 6, the Blue Jays 1. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. To the bottom of the fifth we go with the White Sox ahead 6-1. I'm Jamie Campbell along with Pat Tabler on a beautiful sunny day in Toronto. John Garland on the mound for the White Sox facing Gregson. For all the apparent troubles Garland has had today, he's only given up 2 hits, one of them a home run to Lyle Overbay. Zahn drives this out to center field, and he'll be retired by Makoviak. An update will follow the at bat. Here's Jason. Well, the home run watch for Jason Bay is on in Trail, British Columbia. That is impressive. 6 straight games. And barreled over the Astros catcher in the 18th last night to win it in extra innings for the Pirates. Aaron Hill to left field. We have seen a lot of fly ball outs by the Blue Jays in this game.
You know, and usually when Garland is on his game, he gets a lot of ground ball outs because of that heavy sinker that he has. But right now, with a 6-1 lead, you know he's just trying to throw strikes. 8 fly ball outs by the Blue Jays this afternoon. He is just trying to throw strikes, trying to make the Blue Jays hit themselves back into this game. He doesn't want to start walking anybody.
Luis Figueroa, who needs a stitch job on his old glove. Now the media guide lists him at 140 pounds. Look at the bat. Look at how big that bat looks in his hands. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like as long as he is.
Whereas when a guy like Troy Gloss steps up there with his bat, it looks as if he could pick his teeth. Swings and misses, striking out, tossing that lumber away as the Blue Jays go down in order in the 5th. If you are one of the semi-finalists in the General Motors Home Run Challenge and one of the Blue Jays hits that display in center field, you and 15 of your friends will get the General Motors luxury suite for a game. Juan Uribe swings at the first pitch from Brian Talent, airs it out in foul territory. 3 chasing, none will get to it. All selected semi-finalists in the General Motors Home Run Challenge will have a chance at the end of the year to win either the 2006 Pontiac Solstice or the Chevrolet HHR. not for the home run given up to Jermaine Dye, Talent has looked very good in relief of Ty Taubenheim. He struck out 3, allowed a single to Podsednik and the home run. Other than that, nothing much for the White Sox.
Yeah, even after Podsednik singled off of him, he was wiped out on that steal attempt by Greg Zahn. You see Francisco Rosario has gotten up in the bullpen. What a job the bullpen did in yesterday's ball game.
Lofted to left field on a line over the head of Catalanato off the Bud Light sign. And Uribe held to a single. Nicely played by the Blue Jays left fielder.
Well, Uribe has some power. He hasn't shown it so far this year, but he kind of reaches out. And watch the defensive play by Catalanato, barehanding the ball off a hop and off the wall, and throws a strike to Aaron Hill to keep Uribe at first base.
Sednick, the leadoff man, is 2 for 2. A single, a triple, and a walk. He scored twice. You can tell by the insignia on his bat that he uses one of those Canadian bats, the Sam bat made in Ottawa. 0-2 the count. Strike 3 called. Podsednik retired. 1 down, top of the 6th.
There you see Podsednik kind of shaking his head. Good pitch by Talent. Freezes him with this breaking ball right on the outer half. And I think Podsednik knows that as he just turns and goes back to the dugout.
Cintron has 2 RBIs today. This one heading for right field. Rios on the run, catches up to it, 2 down. The 3-game series with the Red Sox beginning tomorrow. BlueJays.com for tickets, or you can watch all 3 on Sportsnet. For the Jays, Halladay, Chacin, and Lilly. Clement, Beckett, and then perhaps David Wells on Wednesday.
Should be a good series. Blue Jays have handled the Red Sox pretty well this year. Ted Lilly has pitched great against the Red Sox over the last few years. Clement they knocked around in Boston earlier in this year. David Wells just came off the disabled list in his last start because of a knee injury. And wouldn't you know it, Travis Lee hits him with a line drive right in that same knee. So there was some talk that he might not make that start. But we hear today that he is scheduled to make it there on Wednesday.
Strike 2 to Jim Thome, and it looks like Coco Crisp will be back in the lineup for the Red Sox for that series. He's been out most of the season with a finger injury.
Broke it like 6 days into the season or something like that, and had a couple of setbacks.
Talent looking for the strikeout. He won't get it, throwing it up there. Thome, a true designated hitter. The only position he plays.
There was some talk about trying to get him into the lineup when they go play the Chicago Cubs at Interleague, taking some ground balls over at first base. But Ozzie Guillen is saying that, you know, this guy is so valuable to our team. I don't want to put him out there if he's going to hurt himself. All the extra running and stretching and bending and cutting and everything you have to do like that, that I'd rather maybe just bring him off the bench against the Chicago Cubs when they play that Interleague and save him to be the designated hitter the rest of the season.
Some teams rotate through that position. You know, the Blue Jays use Shea Hillenbrand as often as they can, but he gets time in the field as well.
Third base, first base when they want to give guys off.
Shallow right, shall we say. Aaron Hill picks it up and throws Tomey out at first base to get the side. Talent gives up just a single to Uribe. The Memorial Cup final is coming up next on Sportsnet. After this game is over, it's the Quebec Rempart against the host Moncton Wildcats. Quebec coached by Patrick Roy. The Wildcats with Ted Nolan at the helm. Alex Rios still looking for a hit that would extend his hit streak to 14 games. He'll be followed by Catalanato and then Wells, who has hit the ball harder than anybody in a Blue Jay uniform today.
Yeah, just one of those two hits by Vernon Wells, the other home run by Overby. And as you watch Garland now with this 5-run lead, I mean, it's exclusively those kind of pitches. Fastball, changeup, fastball, changeup. He'll mix in a few of those sliders, but he is challenging the Blue Jay hitters. Exactly what you're supposed to do when you have a lead like this, and he's really throwing that ball in the inner half very well. Third strikeout of the afternoon by Garland.
Dribbles one over the head of the pitcher. Going to his left. Uribe not in time. An infield single by Catalanato.
Well, when it left the bat, it looked for sure like it was going to go out into center field. But Uribe with a lot of range. Look where he ends up catching this ball on the first base side of the bag, and then cannot get anything on it. As you see, he's twisted all over the place. Actually, short hops Konerko over at first base. An infield single by Catalanato. And here is Vernon Wells.
And the way he's been hitting today, Garland might want to change his philosophy on pitching to him, because Wells has crushed the ball today, but each time it has sailed just left of the foul pole. And he pops this one up immediately.
You know, there's a good fastball. Not miles per hour wise, but location wise by John Garland. Throws it right in on the hands of Vernon Wells. That was just 89 miles an hour. But look how he has to kind of bring his hands in. He can't get the fat part of the bat on the ball. That's what Donnie Cooper's been talking about, that he wants to see more from John Garland this year. And if he does that, he's going to be successful.
Don Cooper, the pitching coach for the White Sox, actually played a few games with the Blue Jays back in '83. You could probably watch the game in the reflection of his shades too.
Always talking pitching. We were teammates in 1978 in the Florida State League. He threw a no-hitter.
No kidding. Hit hard by Gloss. This one correcting itself, and this one out of the ballpark. That's the direction Wells has been hitting them all day. Gloss comes up with a home run, a 2-run shot. His 15th this year, and now it's a 6-3 game.
And the 15th home run this year given up by John Garland. Troy Gloss's first two at-bats were a fly ball to right field and a strikeout, and he doesn't miss this one. Right over the middle of the plate. He's a very good low ball hitter. And this one on a line to left field, cutting that lead from 6-1 down to 6-3.
The other home run today provided by the man at the plate, Lyle Overbay. Fouled right back. Dropping just in front of the broadcast booth. Home runs come in so many different shapes and sizes, don't they? You have the big looping balls hit high in the air, but those are fun to watch. The ones that get out quickly. And this one hit hard by Overbay. Not again. He has done it again. A home run, Lyle Overbay. And here come the Blue Jays creeping back into this one.
You know, when we talked yesterday about these two teams, that these are two of the top 3 home run hitting teams in the American League. Third home run of the afternoon by the Blue Jays. The second home run today by Lyle Overbay. RBIs again. Deep to right field. And this one right down Broadway for Overbay. Home run number 7, RBI number 28, and that's a no doubt about it. Now the crowd is starting to get into it just a little bit.
Don't put it past this man to go back to back to back, as the Jays go back to back for the 4th time this year. This crushing taking place with 2 out in the bottom of the 6th. Three and 2 to Hillenbrand. And ball 4 delivered. And Greg Zahn is going to come up here as the possible tying run. And Don Cooper trots out very quickly.
You're right. He was kind of in a nice little zone. Garland, he struck out Figueroa to end last inning. He struck out Rios to start this inning. Then the infield single by Catalanado. Wells pops out, and then a couple of home runs, and just like that, the tying runs at the plate. The crowd is now starting to get into it. They're trying to get a wave going. Still no action in the bullpen for the White Sox.
Well, the last time the Blue Jays went back-to-back was against Baltimore here at the Rogers Center, April 25th, when Alex Rios and Vernon Wells did it. They did it 3 times, in fact, in April, all 3 times here at the Rogers Center. Once against Brad Radke and the Twins, another against Josh Beckett and the Red Sox. Greg Zahn certainly capable of hitting it out. Ground ball through the hole along the right side. As you like to say, keep that line moving.
And here they come. Shea Hillenbrand could not get to third base because this ball was hit directly in front of him by Greg Zahn. A clean single to right field, but watch Hillenbrand as he has to kind of stop to let that ball go by him, and right there, because he had to hesitate just a little bit, that just stopped him right there at second base, and a chance for Aaron Hill to drive him in.
Hill is 0 for 2 this afternoon. Finally, some movement in the White Sox bullpen. The pitch count for Garland now at 92. got the impression this kind of thing could have happened a lot earlier in the game and with more frequency. They just couldn't seem to get anything going against him.
In that first inning, they had him. And now they have him on the ropes again. Let's see if they can come up with a big hit. You can see that he wants to try and throw that sinker in on the right-handers. You know what Aaron Hill might want to do when he gets back into the plate here? Just take a step back just a little bit so he can square up that sinking fastball. As you see, Brandon McCarthy has now gotten up, the big right-hander who we saw yesterday.
There's another one coming in, and he fouls it off. Boy, a pitch like that, as you say, if he backs up just a touch, he might be able to square that up.
Well, you don't want to give it away because A.J. Pierzynski's pretty clever back there. He is watching that hitter step into the box. You know, you dig that hole out there and plant your foot in there. And a good catcher will make sure that you are right back in that same spot. If not, he'll call something differently. He has had a good homestand, Aaron Hill, coming into this game 7 for 15 to get that batting average up right around 250. He is working on a 3-game hit streak.
Swung on and missed as Hill strikes out, leaving 2 aboard, but the Blue Jays come back with 3 in their half of the 6th. Back-to-back home runs. The first by Gloss scores 2, and then a solo drive, Lyle Overbay. It's a 6-4 Chicago lead. After 3 2/3 of excellent relief by Brian Talent, John Gibbons goes to the bullpen and calls upon Francisco Rosario.
Yeah, you can see by those numbers he has pitched very effectively since being called up from Syracuse. 9 innings, 6 hits, and 9 strikeouts. Pretty good ERA at 1.93. He'll throw a fastball that can get into the mid-90s when he's on. Slider and a little bit of a changeup. Now his job here is just to keep it right where it's at. The bullpen has done a nice job over the last couple of days. Rosario with his first appearance against the White Sox.
He'll be facing Konerko, Dye, and Pierzynski in the top of the 7th. Konerko, who hit 2 home runs in that first game of the series, has done little with the bat so far today. Line shot to right field. Rios backtracks and catches up to it. That kind of play is a pitcher's best friend.
Yeah, he fell behind Konerko and they had to serve him a fastball. And Konerko, watch how he reaches out, goes with this ball. It looked like extra bases, but with those long strides by Alex Rios and those long arms, he just outruns that ball. Looked like it had extra bases when it left the bat, but Rios says no way.
Jermaine Dye, a triple short of the cycle. He singled, doubled, homered in his last at bat, bumping his average up to 300. Slow roller to short, taken by Figueroa in the dirt at first, but retired either way. Jason Portwando with an update. Here's A.J. Pierzynski with 2 down. The White Sox holding on to a 2-run lead here in the 7th. If you're a fan of contemporary rock, you'll be interested to know Pierzynski lives in Orlando, Florida. His next door neighbor is Mark Tremonti, who was the former lead guitarist of the band Creed. They no longer exist, now part of the band Alter Bridge. So needless to say, Pierzynski's a big Creed fan. Do you have any Creed albums, Pat?
No.
Didn't think so.
I've heard of them, but I couldn't tell you what they sing. Sorry.
It's okay. 2-2. Rosario looks in, gets the sign from zone. Line to right field, and a fair ball. It just touched the inside part of that line. Rios comes up throwing. Pierzynski slowing on his way to second, and he is dead on arrival. Oh, Alex Rios with the hose from right field. And he gets a slow-moving Pierzynski.
His second outfield assist in 2 days. I think the whole key to this play is watch the ball come off the wall, and he barehands it. Quickly spins around and throws a strike to Figueroa, and Pierzynski knows he's a dead duck. Wow. That'll get you fired up. Let's see if the Blue Jays can turn it into some runs.
Luis Figueroa, how about that as we come back to action at the Rogers Center with a double, his first major league hit, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, you got to throw that ball out for the kid. Juan Uribe asked him if that's his first big league hit. They're going to throw it over to Brian Butterfield, the third base coach. Watch how he digs this one right off his shoe tops and hits it between Konerko and the line. It looked like a changeup from John Garland, and he hugs that line, rips it right down the right field line for his first big league hit. Another good start here in the 7th for the Jays. And now Ozzie Guillen is going to go out to the mound to talk to John Garland.
We're seeing a bit of a momentum swing here after the fine defensive play, the outfield assist by Alex Rios, and now the leadoff double from an unlikely source in Luis Figueroa. And it looks like Guillen is going to sit and chat with Garland a little longer just to see if he can't get a little more time for the bullpen.
He just wants to make sure they got up when the inning started out in the bullpen. Now he's going to go to him. Waiting for home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt before he got out there, before he goes to Brandon McCarthy.
McCarthy pitched an inning in yesterday's ball game. He's going to come in to face Alex Rios here in the 7th with the Jays down by 2 and their first batter in scoring position. Back live at the Rogers Center, Alex Rios facing Brandon McCarthy. Luis Figueroa at second base after the double. McCarthy in relief of John Garland, who goes 6+ innings. Sneaks away, and Figueroa heading for third base.
Change up in the dirt by Brandon McCarthy. Heads up base running by Figueroa as he sees this ball skip away from A.J. Pierzynski. Not very far, but if you read it out at second base that the ball's going to be in the dirt, you get a good jump. You can make it even though that ball just rolls right off the dirt. And now a chance for the Blue Jays. A runner at third base and nobody out to cut this lead in half.
Strike one to Rios. A wild pitch charged to McCarthy. This would be the perfect time for Rios to extend his hit streak. Two different locations, but 2 strikes called.
Yeah, you can see Rios is right on top of that plate now. They're going to stay
He goes
in there.
around. Look at that. Gets the strikeout.
McCarthy comes right over the top. So his fastball, he can ride it into the top part of that strike zone. And you can see Rios fooled by it. Kind of a half swing. He's one of their best pitching prospects. Stands 6'7", right over the top with a fastball in the low 90s. Good curveball and a good changeup. He has 5 holds coming out of the bullpen already this season.
Perhaps Frank Catalanato can hit it to the right side and bring home the run. 1 out, man on third. Here's the 0-1 inside, ball 1.
It's going to be tough because you can see against Rios it was fastballs up in the strike zone trying to get a pop-up to leave that runner at third base. First 2 pitches to Catalanato, same thing. There's another one.
Ground ball to short. Uribe will concede the run. Throw out Catalanato at first base. A 1-run game now.
You know, and Uribe almost held that ball just a little bit too long. Frank Catalanato hustling on the play the whole way. Uribe thought he might have a shot if Figueroa freezes on this semi-line drive, but you see he goes right away. Uribe checks him, and look how close the play is over at first base.
Vernon Wells has been smoking it on Vernon Wells' bobblehead day. Just a double to show for in his at-bats today, though. 10,000 Vernon Wells bobblehead dolls were given away. 2 of them have already been broken by Wells fouling off into the second level here down in left field.
Three 3-0. The way he's swinging, he's the tying run at the plate. I let him go. Ooh, taking all the way.
Heading for the chairs and out of play. Sednick drops it. It bounces off his glove. Wells heading for second, and he will get there safely. Oh, a big break for the Blue Jays.
Well, you said it, that Vernon Wells has been stinging the ball all afternoon, and he sends a rope to left field. Now watch how Sednick kind of gets turned around. He breaks back on the ball correctly, and then the ball might have been hooking on him. And as he tried to turn to reach it and reach for it, looked like it might have hit off the heel of his glove. Vernon Wells is in scoring position, and Troy Gloss now represents the go-ahead run.
Mark E7 on your scorecard. And you know what Troy Gloss did last time up? Belted his 15th home run of the year. Ooh. Looking for number 16 on that pitch.
Clutch hitting today. They have not done it so far. The Blue Jays 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and they've left 4 guys on.
There's left-hander Matt Thornton, who also appeared in yesterday's game. There's a ground ball to Creedy at third. They'll pick it up, fire to first, Jays get Gloss and leave Wells on the base path, but Figueroa comes around to score, makes this a one-run game. Here's the pitching line on John Garland, and as always, it's brought to you by the Hazelnut Moo Latte at Dairy Queen. DQ, something different.
Gave up 7 hits in 6 innings, and 3 of those hits were long ones. The Gloss home run and 2 by Lyle Overbay, and it's gotten them back into the ballgame. He's in line for the win if his bullpen can hold him off. A couple of innings ago, you would figure that that was in the bank. It was 6-1. He was cruising. Gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th, another one here in the 7th, and now we head into the 8th. One-run game.
Joe Brady lifting a fly ball out to center. Back to the track is Wells. He'll pick it up. Rosario to face the bottom third of the order. Here's center fielder Rob Makoviak. Strike 2 from Rosario. Hit to right field and hard. Rios back to the wall, and that ball is out of here. A solo home run, Rob Makoviak. And just when the Jays get to within 1, the White Sox come back and extend their lead to 2.
And they do it with the home run. Second in the American League in home runs as a team. Second home run of the season for Makoviak. Slider from Rosario, and it speeds the bat up of Rob Makoviak. Second home run given up this year by Rosario.
And here's Uribe, tracked down by Rios for out number 2. Makoviak's got this thing about hitting home runs on his son's birthday. So 2 out for the leadoff man, and it looks like John Gibbons will make a pitching change with the left-handed pitchers Scott Schoenweis warm in the pen, and a left-handed batter due up in Scott Podsednik. So while they make the change, we'll take a short break. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. Pitching change made by the Blue Jays, and it's the man who won the ball game last night, Scott Schoenweis. The former White Sox, played 2 years with Chicago, 03 and 04.
Pitched a third of an inning in yesterday's game. Gave up a couple of hits, but you're right, came away with the win. Makes his 23rd appearance of the season. And he's going to come in to face Podsednik, a left-handed hitter. He has struggled a little bit in his 11 May appearances. He's given up 8 earned runs. Those 23 appearances now tied for 10th in the American League for the most.
Troy Gloss is sneaking in from his position at third base just in case Podsednik decides to square again to bunt. To short for Figueroa. And there go the White Sox, but they get the solo home run from Rob Makoviak and extend their lead to 2. Join a group of Olympians Tuesday against the Boston Red Sox. The Right to Play group in attendance as the Red Sox come to town. Clara Hughes, Becky Scott, all tremendous performers for Canada on the international stage. The Red Sox in for 3 right now, though, a 7-5 game. The Blue Jays up against Brandon McCarthy here in the bottom of the 8th. Lyle Overbay, the leadoff man. He'll be followed by Shea Hillenbrand and then Greg Zahn. Jamie Campbell along with Pat Tabler. Another exciting game here in Toronto. We watched a dandy yesterday as the Blue Jays won in 11. Overbay with 2 home runs so far today.
Third time in his career that he has had multiple home run games. He has never had a 3 home run game. But his job right now is not to hit the ball out of the ballpark. It's to get on base against Brandon McCarthy and start something here in the bottom of the 8th.
Chops this one into the seats.
It'll be nice if he hit a home run. Get that run back that they just gave up in the top of the inning.
Fouled back again. So he gets on base with the walk in front of an appreciative crowd of 35,000 plus here at the Rogers Center on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. In fact, one of the men in attendance, now a member of the Toronto Argonauts, former Heisman Trophy winner Ricky Williams, is watching from a private suite with his Argo hat on. Shea Hillenbrand, the batter. Hillenbrand jumped on a Jeff Nelson offering with 1 out in the 11th yesterday and won it in extras for the Blue Jays. Fouls this one way back. Tabler reaches out for it, but you're about 8 feet too short.
Yeah, no chance. I need one of those big nets to get out there to catch it.
Boy, you heard the comments Ozzie Guillen made following last night's loss. If the Blue Jays find a way to come back and win this one, I shudder at the thought of his post-game interview. Breaking ball. Konerko will get the forced second on to first, and they get Hillenbrand too.
One of the hardest double plays to turn in baseball. The 3-6-1 double play. Konerko comes up firing. Ball is jammed by Hillenbrand on the inside out. Watch him come up firing. He throws a strike to Uribe. Now McCarthy's got to get over there. He finds the bag, finds the ball, and they get Hillenbrand by a step. No chance for Konerko to get back there, so the pitcher's got to take it. You can see with those long arms, he stretches out for the double play.
me, swing by Zahn. The underhand toss to first will retire him, and the Blue Jays go quickly in the bottom of the 8th. On to the 9th inning we go. Here in Toronto, a 7-5 Chicago lead. The White Sox aiming for their first victory in this series. They'll head for Cleveland after today's game is over. The Blue Jays will ready for the Boston Red Sox. Scott Schoenweis to face the meat of the order as soon as he's through with Cintron. Jim Thome and Paul Konerko will follow.
And just in case they need him, Jason Frazier has gotten up, the right-hander in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. If Schoenweis gets into some trouble here, they'll have him ready.
Little scoop by Gloss, who loses it after initially making contact. So Cintron is on. We have an update. Back we go to Jason Portwando. Charge an error to Troy Gloss at third, allowing Cintron to reach. Jim Thome, the batter. The shift is on. So with this shift the way it is, and a man on first base, if Thome hits it to Hill, who covers second?
It's got to be Troy Gloss, because he'll be coming across the bag towards first base. Now I wonder with this shift if Jim Thome would take a shot at trying to hit the ball the other way. All he has to do is just hit a ground ball to the third baseman. All he has to do. It's kind of tough to do. But you can see all the area from Troy Gloss's right all the way to the foul line. Left-hander on the mound. Very rarely do you see left-handed hitters pull left-handed pitchers.
Schoenweis tossing a number of good pitches here, but not getting the call.
He's got a great eye, doesn't he? He has always been up there in the American League in walks, on base percentage. For a slugger with that ability, with a great eye like that, just an added bonus.
Cintron moving. This ball hit high in the air to right field. And now John Gibbons with Paul Konerko due to bat will go to the bullpen once again and bring in Jason Frazier. So with a man on and one out in the top of the 9th, Schoenweis will exit. So will we for a short time and return on Sportsnet. Stand by for the Memorial Cup final presented by MasterCard. The Quebec Rempart against the Moncton Wildcats. The winner obviously will come from the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. It's available on all channels and available in high definition. Peter Labardius with the call in Moncton as that tournament concludes here on Rogers Sportsnet. Jason Fraser will pitch again. He came in yesterday's game to pitch 2/3 of an inning. The fourth reliever used by John Gibbons this day, and he'll face Konerko with 1 on, 1 out. There's Cintron at first base. Fraser, like a number of Blue Jays this year, had to go down to AAA to find his game again. Vinny Chalk pitched yesterday for Syracuse, took the loss in the game, but his record at this point 3-1. He's got a pretty good 3.21 ERA. So at some point you might see Chalk back in a Toronto uniform. Russ Adams played his second game with the Sky Chiefs in that game yesterday, and his second game at second base.
First game he had a couple of hits, but you know, right now the Blue Jays aren't worried about what he's doing with the bat.
No, not at all. We were thinking at some point soon you may see Aaron Hill take the field to start a game at short, but those plans have probably been delayed a little while as John McDonald suffered a slight groin injury in yesterday's game. Hence the start for Luis Figueroa at short today. Second, dropped by Hill. Cintron safely into the bag. In the meantime, Fraser got the strikeout of Konerko.
Totally froze Paul Konerko. Third time this afternoon that he has struck out. Cintron, not a very good jump over at first base, but the throw was kind of to the shortstop side of second base, and Aaron Hill, as he tries to reach back for it, can't apply the tag. A stolen base, the second of the season for Cintron. He hasn't been thrown out yet.
Here's Jermaine Dye, a single, a double, a home run. Jose Valentin, the last man to hit for the cycle for the White Sox. We saw Ricky Williams, the football player, in the stands today. I had no idea until Scott Carson passed the note on that he was actually drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies back in 1995.
Outfielder.
That looked good, but it's ball 3. Strike 2. Fraser throws 2 down the middle. A full count to Dye. 2 out. Cintron at second. And the White Sox in the ninth, leading by 2. Misses with the off-speed stuff outside. Walks die. And here comes Brzezinski again. Got a curveball that just got away from Fraser.
Yeah, he fell behind 3-0 and then a couple of fastballs. And I think he wanted to trick Jermaine Dye because he has been swinging such a hot bat. And he held on to it just a little bit too long. And a chance for Brzezinski to pick the run up.
That chant, "We want pizza." If the Blue Jays strike out 7, they have 6 at this point. Everybody in attendance gets a free slice.
I was wondering what that was. I didn't hear. I heard that "we want pizza." They strike out 7 every game.
Right.
Nice. And he's got to make a pitch here. 0-2 to Brzezinski. Let's see what he uses to try and get him out.
Well, they're hungry. Right? They want some pizza. Reaching for it, grounding to third. A mix of boos and cheers. They get the out, but they won't get the pizza. Down by 2, the Blue Jays to bat in the bottom of the ninth. Very soon, the puck will drop at the Memorial Cup final featuring Quebec against Moncton. The host team, the Moncton Wildcats, up against the Rempart. That's coming up as soon as this game is over. About 10 minutes to 4 Eastern time here in Toronto. Brian Anderson, a pretty good defender, heads out to center field, moving Rob Makoviak to the left side. And the closer for the White Sox now on in relief, it's Bobby Jenks.
And he's a good one. He can get it up there in triple digits. He has reached 100 miles an hour before. Good numbers, 2-1 with an ERA under 4. 26 strikeouts and just 6 walks in 20 and a third innings. He has made 4 straight scoreless outings, allowing 2 hits and 11 strikeouts in just 5 2/3 innings. He ranks 3rd in the American League with those 13 saves. Started slowly this year in terms of miles per hour. Everybody wants him to throw 100 miles an hour, but I think in spring training he's building up arm strength. You know, and as a short reliever, it's very hard for short relievers to build up arm strength to get that up to where you need to. really the only thing they can do is do long toss. But now as the season wears on, he's getting stronger and stronger, and you see those miles per hour going up and up.
Aaron Hill bats first for the Blue Jays. Eric Hinsky will pinch hit for Luis Figueroa. And then Alex Rios back at the top of the order, due to follow Hinsky. Jenks, of course, was thrust into the limelight last year as the White Sox made their run towards the World Series, became the first rookie in baseball history to earn the save in the clinching game of a World Series. That was Game 4 in Houston. Hit on the ground to the second baseman Cintron, one away in the ninth.
Jenks was picked up from the Anaheim Angels. Look at some of the arms that the Angels have had in their bullpen the last few years that they let go. Derek Turnbow was in the Angel organization, now closing for Milwaukee. Bobby Jenks was always a guy who could throw very hard. And now he says, you know what, I don't have to throw it 100 miles an hour. I have to have location, and I have to keep the batter off balance.
First pitch swinging, grounds to first, the toss to Jenks, 2 out.
I think he calls it a bonus throwing 100 miles an hour, not a necessity.
Alex Rios was the subject of our Gatorade X Factor today, brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you? And unless he can get a base hit here, the streak, at least the current streak, will end at 13 consecutive games.
How about 3 different hit streaks, 9 games or better this year?
From Jenks, so the man on the mound goes from being a thrower to more of a pitcher.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He had the reputation when he first signed with the Angels and trying to make his way up through the minor leagues that he was a thrower, that he could just pump it in there as hard as he can. But he says he found out that big leaguers can turn around 100 miles an hour. Richie Sexton did it to him earlier this year. Pitch that was registered 101 on the radar gun. He turned around for a home run. He said, I'm now a pitcher, changing speeds and still being able to throw that ball up there in the 90s, but with better location.
2 strikes now to Rios. Last chance for the Blue Jays. Catalanado's on deck if Rios gets aboard.
13 for 14 in save opportunities this year for Jenks. His only blown save, the Kansas City Royals. Who would have thought that? The way they have struggled this year.
His change in philosophy, I assume, will probably extend his career. You can only go so long pumping it in at 100+ miles an hour, learning to become more of a pitcher.
Well, you put the breaking ball in the back of the mind of the hitter, so when you throw it in there at 90, it looks like it's 190 miles an hour. He has thrown like 3 straight breaking balls to Rios. Let's see if he comes with the number 1.
Ground ball down the line at third. This should do it for the White Sox. In the dirt, picked up by Konerko, and the White Sox will get out of town with a victory. The Blue Jays win the series, but the White Sox win the final game as they capture it 7-5.
Well, they made it interesting, the Blue Jays. After 5 innings, it was 6-1, and it seemed like things weren't going their way. But then all of a sudden, the home run got them back into the game. They scored 3 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. But the bullpen of the White Sox do the job. McCarthy doesn't give up a hit, and now Jenks comes in with a 1-2-3 inning here in the 9th.
Now, even though it is the White Sox who are high-fiving each other here, the Blue Jays score victories in the first 2 games on a critical weekend. Both the Red Sox and Yankees playing series against Tampa Bay and Kansas City, respectively. With Boston coming in, starting a 3-game series tomorrow, it was imperative that the Blue Jays get at least 2 against the White Sox, and they accomplished that.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way you can look at it. You take 2 out of 3 from the world champs. Now you've got Boston coming in tomorrow for a 3-game set, and you got the big guy on the mound starting tomorrow for Halladay. Hopefully you can get him off to a good start and try and take 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox. That's how you do it, in small increments like that.
Ty Taubenheim will take the loss in this ball game. He struggled going 2 1/3 on a beautiful day here in sunny downtown Toronto. So the Blue Jays lose the final game of the series. The win going to John Garland as he improves to 4-2. A 3-run 6th inning for the Jays got them right back in it. Back-to-back home runs, a 2-run shot by Troy Gloss. And that was followed by a solo shot from Lyle Overbay, who had 2 home runs in the game. The Jays got to within 1 in the 7th after a leadoff double, the first major league hit in the career of Luis Figueroa. But Rob Makoviak seals it with a solo shot of his own. That was in the 8th. So stand by for the Boston Red Sox beginning tomorrow. 3 games, all of them here on Rogers Sportsnet, coast to coast. We'll kick it off tomorrow with that matchup. Matt Clement for Boston up against Roy Halladay, who is 6-1 on the year. Here's what's up next across the network and available in high definition. It's the final game of the Memorial Cup. It's Quebec against Moncton, the 2006 MasterCard Memorial Cup on Sportsnet. So Ty Taubenheim took the hill against the defending World Series champs, but could not get the victory as the White Sox hold off a sweep for Pat Tabler. And our Sportsnet.ca columnist Scott Carson. I'm Jamie Campbell. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night back here at the Rogers Center as the Jays face the Red Sox.